Good evening, I'm John Carter. Welcome to Poland Daily. The declaration signed in New York yesterday by the Polish and US presidents Andrzej Duda and Donald Trump is a guarantee of Poland's security, said the President Andrzej Duda. The USA have agreed to increase the permanent military presence in Poland. Donald Trump also announced that the requirement of visas for Poles travelling to the USA will soon be lifted.
Even before the talks, the presidents of Poland and the United States signed a declaration on increasing the presence of American troops in our country. This is the specification of the declaration on cooperation in the field of security, which was agreed on June 12 during President Duda's visit to Washington.
We're going to be cooperating in so many different ways, and militarily, primarily, we'll be moving soldiers there. Poland has borne the expense. They're going to be building us facilities that I'm sure will be very beautiful. It's being worked out right now, but Poland came to us. They asked us if we would put some troops there. They will bear the entire expense, and we appreciate that, and we worked out a deal.
President Trump stated that his administration will soon announce a decision on visa waiver for Poles traveling to the United States. According to unofficial reports, this is expected to be effective from January 2nd, 2020.
We're also doing waivers, the visa waivers for Poland, and that's in the work. We're working on the structure right now, but you can report back to the people of Poland and the Polish people in the United States that President Trump got it done and nobody else could for a long time, as you know. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
During a joint press conference, President Trump emphasized how important U.S. cooperation with Poland is.
Poland has been a very, very great country as far as the United States is concerned. We do a lot of business with Poland, and they also make product, and they sell a lot of us product, a lot of us really very good product. You have great craftsmen, and that's what we like, is great craftsmen, but so do we. So we've had a great trading relationship.
President Andrzej Duda and the head of the Defense Ministry, Mariusz Błaszczak, emphasized that the declaration signed in New York, increasing the scale of the presence of American troops in Poland, is a guarantee of security for our country.
When we had the period of the Iron Curtain, the Americans prevented the eruption of military conflict. Nobody wanted to risk it. The forces on both sides were enormous and the result would be fatal. Today we have a similar situation, and I hope that everyone understands that all we need is peace. That is exactly why all the troops are here. We do understand that we have great allied unity.
Między innymi właśnie dlatego, że te wojska tutaj są i pokazują jedność sojuszniczą.
Panie prezydencie, mission completed.
Mr. President, mission completed. Poland today joined an exclusive group of countries in which United States troops are permanently stationed. This is extremely important for the security of our homeland. Thanks to the document signed today by the President of Poland, Andrzej Duda, and the President of the United States, Donald Trump, 6 locations in Poland have been sealed. First of all, the Division Command of American troops in Poland in Poznań, and therefore the command that will operate throughout our part of Europe.
W całej naszej części Europy.
Andrzej Duda also commented on President Trump's announcement regarding the inclusion of Poland in the visa waiver program.
Cieszę się, bo
I am happy because I have such a strong impression that the President treated this issue of visas personally, changing Polish-American relations in so many fields for the better when our economic and military cooperation intensifies. There was also an improvement on an interpersonal level and greater openness.
ją bardzo tak osobiście.
Donald Trump stated that he would visit Poland in the near future. The American president's visit was to take place on September 1st to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the outbreak of the World War II, but was cancelled because of Hurricane Dorian.
The Advocate General of the Court of Justice of the European Union has stated that a Polish court's preliminary questions regarding the Polish government's judicial reform should be considered unacceptable. Today's statement indicates that the Polish government will win the case, but the final ruling of the court is expected in the next few months.
Sądy okręgowe w Łodzi I w Warszawie zadały w ubiegłym roku do...
Last year, the district courts in Warsaw and Łódź asked the European Court of Justice preliminary questions concerning the independence of judges in relation to the implementation of the new disciplinary system for judges in Poland. Today, the Advocate General of the Court of Justice of the European Union called these questions unacceptable. The representatives of the Polish Ministry of Justice, as well as politicians of the Law and Justice Party, are pleased with this opinion and feels that this represents a breakthrough.
Orzeczenia, jeżeli będą będą na przykład.
Do tej pory wyroki TSUE były i opinie były
So far, the verdicts of the Court of Justice of the European Union were crushing for the changes in the Polish legal system. Minister Ziobro was wrong. The European Court of Justice is an independent institution that takes care of the rule of law.
która zajmuje się.
Liczę na to, że ta opinia.
I hope that the decision of the European Court of Justice will be like a cold shower for everyone and that it will lead to real changes in the Polish legal system. I'm happy that some judges who have some fears will be relieved.
Być może ci sędziowie.
To jest taka pierwsza jaskółka w rozstrzygnięciach organów
This
europejskich.
is the first sign that legal frameworks should be respected and that the law cannot be publicly abused.
Prawa w sposób jawny.
Opinia Rzecznika Generalnego jest wstępem do wydania
The Advocate General of the European Court of Justice's opinion is an introduction to the decision of the court. Usually, the court's decision is compliant with the opinion of the Advocate General. The decision of the European Court of Justice will be announced later this
zgodny z
fall.
wcześniejszą opinią Rzecznika.
The mayor of Warsaw, Rafał Trzaskowski, has stressed that the sewage that spilled into the Vistula River following a breakdown of the Czajka sewage treatment plant is safe for crops. On the other side, Sebastian Kaleta from the Law and Justice Party claims that the mayor of the Polish capital is hiding information from the public, while the state prosecution leads several investigations into the matter.
During a special press conference, Kaleta announced that he will turn to the state prosecution, asking for special supervision on all the cases regarding the Czajka sewage treatment plant. He added that Mayor Trzaskowski remains quiet and is consequently running away from the subject. I keep urging Rafał Trzaskowski to clearly convey to the public all the information regarding the breakdowns of the Czajka plant, the way it is being repaired and how much the repairs cost. But first and foremost, the citizens of several Polish provinces wish to know whether the sewage which is being dumped directly at their fields comes from the Warsaw plant. Did Mayor Trzaskowski know where the sewage was sent? These are the questions Rafał Trzaskowski needs to answer and the doubts the prosecution needs to investigate. The Deputy Minister of Justice followed that by saying that the citizens of many provinces are disturbed by the fact that the waste from the Czajka plant is being dumped in their fields.
Mamy do czynienia z wielkim skandalem.
We have a huge scandal on our hands, and it's unfortunately the sewage which came to the Kujawsko-Pomorskie province straight from Warsaw, from Mr. Mayor Trzaskowski.
Prosto z Warszawy, od pana prezydenta Trzaskowskiego, od zarządu spółki.
The mayor of Warsaw responded by saying that if the deputy minister has doubts regarding the disposal of the sewage, he should go to the district environmental inspection.
To on jest odpowiedzialny za to, żeby
It's him who is responsible for making sure that everything is in accordance with the law. We have all the papers signed with the proper contractors who confirm that everything is legal. Of course, let me say it again, the sewage sludge is safe for the environment.
bezpieczne dla środowiska.
The Warsaw prosecution started an investigation into the Czajka treatment plant. It was recently reported that the breakdown of the two collectors which caused the spill had been known about by the Warsaw authorities in 2018.
The French President Emmanuel Macron has once again attacked Poland on the international stage. President Macron told reporters that he encourages French climate change protesters who demonstrate on the streets of Paris to instead go and protest in Poland, as they, together with Hungary, the Czech Republic and Estonia, recently stopped an EU plan to ban carbon energy in the EU by 2050. Polish President Andrzej Duda called Macron's statement shameless. Other Polish politicians have stated that instead of asking protesters to go to Poland, Macron should order his riot police to stop beating them up on a regular weekly basis. Today, Spain's Supreme Court has ruled that the remains of the General Francisco Franco must be removed in accordance with a law recently passed by the socialist government. General Franco defeated the socialist and communist faction in the Spanish Civil War, which lasted between 1936 to 1989, and is buried in a giant mausoleum together with tens of thousands of fallen from both sides of the Civil War.
More than 34,000 of the fallen from the Spanish Civil War are buried in the Valley of the Fallen. The Supreme Court's decision to allow the socialist government to exhume General Franco shocked many of the tourists who were visiting the mausoleum today.
Me parece el fin del Estado de Derecho.
I think it's the end of the rule of law. I am going to quote Napoleon, who was really a dictator. He was. He caused thousands of deaths in Europe and also in Spain. He is buried in a mausoleum, that's what it is, a mausoleum in Les Invalides in Paris. Nobody would think of exhuming him from there, to desecrate his tomb. Come on, imagine telling that to a Frenchman. Well, he said that humiliating the dead is cowardly.
Pues él decía que humillar a los muertos es de cobardes.
Protesters opposing the Francoist regime gathered in front of the court ahead of the decision. They believe that Franco's remains must be reburied at some modest location. A fascist Nazi dictator like Franco can be publicly recognized in the Valley of the Fallen or in the Almudena Cathedral or at any public site. The remains should be given to the family to be kept at the family site. The decision by the government to exhume General Franco's remains is likely to stoke emotions ahead of the parliamentary election due to take place on November 10th.
Thank you very much for joining me here this evening at Poland Daily. I'm John Carter. Stay tuned after the break for Poland Daily Weather. It's followed by the business, the culture, history and finally the travel.
I'm Alexandra Zarzycka and welcome to Poland Daily Weather. Let's take a look at the forecast for tonight. Sky will be cloudless in most regions, but otherwise over Rzeszów we will see some fog. The temperature will range between 2 degrees in Białystok to 11 on the west. In central Poland, temperature will range from 5 to 7 degrees. And now over to tomorrow. It will be a very sunny day. We don't expect any rainfalls. Plenty of sunlight will appear across the country. Temperature will hover from 13 degrees on the northeast to 23 in Wrocław. Thank you for watching and see you soon.
Poland Daily Business Edition. Tonight we will talk about blockchain and whole area of future economy. Very much in the future is Mr. Kamil Gancarz, chairman of Blockchain Development Foundation. Sir, welcome to the show.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Let us first have a look at the Bitcoin exchange. Couple of months ago it was heading down. We've heard about the end of this particular virtual value because there are other alternatives. How is Bitcoin now?
Okay, so starting from December 2017, there was a big drop from $20,000 US, and it dropped around $3,000, and the drop ended around December 2018. So basically, the whole downtrend took 1 year. After that, we started having quite a big growth. So from that around $3,000 US, we are today at 9,800 US.
Are you able to explain why it dropped and why it regained its position?
It's actually quite easy because financial markets tend to have speculative bubbles, and also those bubbles burst. If you have something that has quite a big value, because we need to establish one thing. There would be 21 million Bitcoins, period. And imagine that's the worldwide currency with 21 coins basically available, 21 million coins available. So we have, how much now? 7.5 billion people around the globe. And everybody needs to use the currency. So at some point, we'll meet the future that there are some prediction. I have even the econometric model for that, that in about 10 to 15 years, Bitcoin can cost $10 million US per one Bitcoin. Now, of course, it wouldn't be in such fast pace. We don't reach that goal. But I presume that in about starting from May 2020 till August, September 2021, will reach $100,000 US price, or even twice that. So 200,000, 250,000 US dollars.
Despite the fact that there are viable or plausible alternatives.
Yes, there are alternatives, but we need to understand that Bitcoin right now is the biggest human supercomputer. We built decentralized computer, we have a good track record, let's say. Of course, starting from 2008, maybe it's not a long time, but we need to remember one thing. In 1995, 0.4% of worldwide population used internet at that time. Now it's 58.4, I believe, percent of people living on this planet Earth are using internet. And with Bitcoin, in 2019, only 0.4% of people are using Bitcoin. So future is quite big for this instrument and also for the underlying technology, which is blockchain.
Mm-hmm. How many of Bitcoins are already mined?
It's
in percentage.
It's actually I will tell you in a figure. It's 17 million, 0.5 or 0.8. I don't remember the exact figure. It's below 18 million.
And the cap is about 200.
21 million. And we reached the cap in 2140.
Okay, and the mining price is still growing. What are the factors of the mining price?
Actually, yes. There is usually the price is going up. What are the major factors? First of all, electricity cost, so per kilowatt hour. So that's the most important factor. But also there's a difficulty. The system is established in such a way, if you add too much hashing power, so that algorithm to mine Bitcoins. If we add too much power, then network is adjusting itself automatically via algorithm to create higher difficulty. That means that if we have the same hashing power, so let's say the same computer or the same miners, our miners start to generate less Bitcoins at the end of the day. So, and they cost similar because electricity price doesn't change so much within the month. Usually we know the price of the electricity. But if the difficulty rises, then we can start generating less Bitcoins. Therefore, mining often cost similar, but mines generate less revenue in terms of Bitcoin. So that's the very important factor. But also, why I'm saying that the price is going to $100,000 US, May 2020 till August 2021. There will be a very big event called halving, and halving is reducing price of the price of for miners for discovering the block, and that price is right now 12.5 Bitcoin per block, and it will be reduced half. So it will be only 6.25 Bitcoins generated every 10 minutes, each block.
Okay, so from what you're saying, one can understand that utilities are a big winner of the Bitcoin.
That's true, and also builders of miners.
Right, the computer and the graphic computers that...
Nowadays, for Bitcoin, we don't use so much of graphic cards. We use special ASIC, so specially designed computer chips that are strictly built for hashing function of Bitcoin. So basically, they are used only for Bitcoin mining or breaking the passwords.
Bitcoin, with its security built into this exchange system, was very much used by the rough guys, all the drug dealers, arms dealers, you name it, were using this money for clandestine transaction. Is it still the case?
At some point that's the case, but nowadays there are better cryptocurrencies for being for hiding your money or launder your money, because Bitcoin is public. Actually, FBI director said once that he wants to drug dealers to use Bitcoin, not cash, because actually the worst money for money laundering in terms of state or in terms of police or secret services is that the criminals are using cash. So cash is actually much better for criminals for money laundering than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is actually quite opposite.
So all those TV scenes when people are having their money in suitcases and counting them down is absolutely
it's true.
the current technology.
Yes. It's the best technology, actually.
Kamil Gancarz, chairman of Blockchain Development Foundation. Sir, thank you very much for this conversation.
Thank you so much.
And that was it for Poland Daily tonight.
I'm Aleksandra Zarzycka and welcome to Poland Daily Weather. Let's take a look at the forecast for tomorrow. It will be a very sunny day. We don't expect any rainfalls. Plenty of sunlight will appear across the country. Temperature will hover from 13 degrees on the northeast to 23 in Wrocław. And now let's see tomorrow's forecast for the continent. On the south of Europe, temperature will fall. In Madrid and Lisbon, we will see 25 degrees. The highest temperature will be in Rome, 28. Warmer in British Islands, and there the temperature will range from 16 to 20 degrees. In Central Europe, little rainfall will appear. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Good day, everyone. My name is Maria Kądzielska, and this is Poland Daily Culture. Have you ever wanted to meet a magician? Today you've got a chance. Ladies and gentlemen, Magician Y.
Hello.
Thank you for being with us. Hopefully he won't make us all disappear. But let's ask him a few questions. Why? You've designed 6 your own personal decks, card decks. Why are they special? What for have you done it? What's the purpose?
So they're not special, actually. They are just nicely looking. My dream was always to have my own deck of cards, produced in a famous company and a factory, United States Playing Cards Company in Kentucky. I fulfilled that dream by doing a crowdfunding campaign for the first deck, but then I done the second, the third. We collected a lot of money. The sum is around $150,000 to $200,000.
$200,000 for a deck of cards.
Yeah, to produce a deck of cards, but it's not one deck of cards, obviously. It's a limited edition, and everybody who was participating in that, they were basically buying a deck of cards. They're all a very luxurious deck of cards. This one that I'm holding is the most luxurious because it's all gold, and the box is really, really gold. So
it's a real gold, yes.
It's not real gold, but it's gold foil. But you know, it's a prodigiously looking and luxurious product, and this was something that was lacking for me in Poland. Great playing cards, and I always wanted to do mine. So when I started out the crowdfunding campaign, I was really happy that my fans on YouTube, and it was like 5th of those fans that I have now, and they were excited just like me, and they backed it. During those years, we created some amazing products and amazing community around them, and I love to just search on Instagram for photos of my fans doing some crazy stuff with cards and just posting beautiful pictures of the playing cards. So
could I see one of them?
Yeah, of course. Do you want to see one, or you want to see a couple?
I could see a couple.
Okay.
I mean, first of all, I want to see the decor, how it looks. So our viewers will see it as well.
Yeah. So I don't know if they will catch the light like this, but they are black and gold on the back. And the box looks like this.
They are very amazingly black and gold.
Yeah.
And
they are really expensive to make, actually. So.
Why? So you said that a deck of cards changed your life.
Yeah.
Why was it so?
You know, I started to be fascinated by magic, and my first tool was the deck of playing cards. And I remember back then I need to import the playing cards from US in order to have good playing cards. Right now it's much easier to get in Poland after the years. I like to think that the deck of playing cards opened a lot of doors for me. You know, just simply showing somebody a card trick would basically make me go into the places I wouldn't be going. For example, when I was younger and I was having like 19 or 20, I would go to the clubs where I would have to go have 21 because I was just perform some magic for the guy or girl on front, and they would just let me in.
So you tricked the guys in the front, showing them a trick, and then
but I won't even do like a bet that if I would do something then you let me in. I would just show magic and they would be like so grateful, so they would say come on in, just have a party with us. But you know, playing cards made me travel the world with my YouTube videos and shows. And you know, I started out with playing cards, and I still do a lot of card stuff. But this is what opened me, and I could do like half an hour. Like I think I could do 1.5 hour show with just playing cards, and I often do that at the end of the corporate gigs that I have. Like there is midnight, and there's like only 30 people, and we sit on one table. And I'm just showing them crazy card sleight of hand. For me, it's just fascinating, and this object would always have the place in my heart because, you know, I spent so many time holding the deck of playing cards in my hands, and the weight, the texture sounds, it's so familiar for me. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but let's say a musician would play on a violin, and it's kind of the same, you know, so it will always have a huge value for me.
You say, or you seem to show us that the magic opens hearts of people, and actually it opens the world for you. How does it work?
The guy who is a huge mentor for me, his name is Luke Germain. He's a brilliant mystery performer from UK. He told me once that when you show people magic, they open the heart. In the moment of astonishment, the people open the heart. You have to give them something. Right, so he said that it can even be an advertisement idea or just slogan, because anything is better than just emptiness in your heart, right? So for me, when I perform magic, when people are opening their hearts, I try to push the idea there that maybe if I'm doing something impossible, maybe they can do stuff they think that is impossible, like changing the job or going on the vacations that they were just, you know, dreaming about, and not waiting till the retirement when you don't really have, you know, strength to enjoy it. I try to put the ideas, so every time I do stuff like this, like I try to put the ideas, so every celebrity I perform, I try to make the magic about them, and try to connect with them, and when they open their hearts, I try to push a portion of myself so they will remember me, and then we will have genuine human connection. So I always think about it, because I think, you know, I really truly believe that what he said, that if you don't put anything there, that it's just the worst. And probably that's why it's opening the hearts, because if people are opening the hearts and they have something inside, then maybe they'll be eager to open their hearts again, right?
Absolutely. So back to the cards.
Okay.
So many different tricks, and it's always fascinating. I think we want to see something with the cards.
So I can show you the craziest, probably the one of the craziest thing that I can do with playing cards.
Yes.
But it's not actually something with playing cards. So it will be involving something really personal.
I see.
So it will be your PIN code. Do you have a PIN code to your phone? To your phone, not the card.
I do have a PIN code.
Okay, so how many digits is the PIN code?
6.
6, not 4.
No, 6.
So you see the deck is shuffled, right?
Yes.
Do you want to shuffle?
Yes.
Do you know how to shuffle?
I will try.
It's
Probably
okay.
in the most...
It's okay, you can shuffle.
Okay, I'm shuffling it.
This is a great shuffle. You know how I know? Because this is the same way my grandma shuffles.
So I'm a grandma in the show. If anyone had any doubts about it.
Okay, so here's an idea. You have a shuffled deck. You can see there is no pattern, right?
Yes.
I can even show it to the camera that is watching you, right? It's a shuffled deck, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is just an experiment, okay? But without looking at the cards, I want you to grab but couple of cards, like a portion, like a big portion of the cards, okay? Grab them, don't look at the cards,
Yes.
okay? You can check out how many cards you have.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6 cards.
Yes.
So it's funny because it's a huge coincidence. I'll take those, but I'll be really, really, really gentle. It's huge coincidence because you said that you have 6 numbers in your PIN code.
Yes.
And you took 6 cards.
Yes.
From the deck that you shuffled.
Yes.
And it was a free choice, right?
Yes, absolutely. It was absolutely a free choice.
How funny would it be? Can you take your phone?
I can take my phone.
Can you go to the PIN code? Putting the PIN code?
Yes, probably I just have to, because
Yeah.
it's...
Okay, I'll go to the PIN code.
Because it's a face recognition
Okay.
normally.
Perfect, watch. The first digit is 2.
Yes,
right?
the first digit is...
I'll put the digits, okay? So the first card is 2, hold the card.
Yes, I touched it already, so first one is...
The second one is 3.
Yes.
So I'll put 3. This one is queen. But it looks like 0 to me, so I'll put 0, I'll just...
Okay.
The next one is 8. See 8?
Yes, there's 8.
3.
3.
And 9. 3 and 9. Is that looks like your PIN code?
Yes. Just 9, 3.
9, 3, just
Yes.
the last 2 digits.
The last digits.
But it's good enough.
But it's
Let me
good
put
enough.
It in. So it's
2, 3, 0, 9, 3.
2, 3, 0, 8, 9, 3. There you go.
And there you go. It's
This-
also my date of birth, so now everyone can know
Is
how
it?
old I am.
Oh, okay. I won't thought that.
Wow.
You unlocked your phone.
He unlocked my phone with the cards. Amazing. And thank you for watching Poland Daily Culture.
Behind me, the Pałac Podlachy here in Warsaw. This is the home of Prince Józef Poniatowski. His home, the place where he had his famous parties, also the War Office. Who was Józef Poniatowski? He was in fact a major figure in Polish history. Patriot, general, Minister of War, sometime Marshal of France. Join me in this episode of Poland Daily History, where we learn more about this remarkable Polish figure. I think at that point, Prince Joseph, he then left Poland.
He left Poland because his uncle joined the Targowica party. So those people whom we regard as traitors, simply those pro-Russian ones. Prince Joseph couldn't find his place in
obviously
Poland.
Peace, so-called, came, and so for him, of course, and for the, I think most of the generals as well took the same view, that this was rather disappointing. So we're not going to stick around and sort of suffer this sort of humiliation.
That was humiliation. That even the king joined Targowica Confederation, because it's called like this in Polish history, Polish historiography. Confederation, it's a military noble assembly that is summoned in order to do something in the politics. So there are bad confederations and good confederations. Depends on what they are, on what those guys are trying to do. In politics.
And then I think that after he went to Vienna, I think, at that point, didn't he? I think
he moved to that I don't remember. He moved to France and Belgium at that time, if my memory serves me correctly. Maybe he was also in Vienna. I don't want to lie to you.
I think he went to Vienna and then went to Paris, of course, where in France things were quite exciting because, of course, they were having their own revolution. But then I think for the second time in his career, his uncle, the king, summoned him back to Poland to sort of try and take charge of a sort of new Polish army.
Kościuszko uprising in 1794, and that was a misfortune for Poniatowski, because he was responsible for protecting Warsaw from the west against the Prussian attack, because we often think that there was only one enemy at that time, that was Russia. No, the Prussians were also here. He was late for this very important battle, outskirts of Warsaw, and he was blamed for bad commandment. The public opinion would say that thanks or due to his reluctance, Russians could come too close to Warsaw. And in that time, he was blamed for that, and then we are now moving a bit forward to in the future. In 1809, during the Polish-Austrian War, when he abandoned Warsaw, people were saying exactly the same thing. That's for the second time he's been abandoning Warsaw. This had a very bad impact on his, maybe not on his military career, but on his opinion that events in Warsaw.
The result of that failed uprising, because led to the third partition of Poland.
To the third and final partition
of Poland,
1795.
And then as I recall, his uncle, who had abdicated, went to St. Petersburg, where he died in 1798, perhaps. Catherine died in 1798. As I remember, that Prince Joseph, of course, got on quite well with her successor, Tsar Paul. So he went to attend the funeral. He went to Moscow and was sort of chatting with the Tsar.
Tsar Paul hated his mother. In politics, he was doing exactly the opposite to his mother. So if
my enemy's enemy is my friend.
Exactly. So if his mother was very anti-French, in the sense anti-revolutionary, he was an admirer of Napoleon, because that's the time when Napoleon comes to power. 1799, Tsar Paul gets killed in 1801, so there is a small period.
I think I'm right in saying that it was Tsar Paul, because he actually liked Prince Joseph, restored Prince Joseph's estates in Poland, which had been confiscated after the third partition, including the building in which we're now speaking was one of the properties that were returned to him.
Pałac pod Blachą. This one he couldn't give him back, because we have to remember that Warsaw at that time was taken by Prussia. Yes. The period between 1795 and 1806, Warsaw is a Prussian city. Then, of course, after the Congress of Vienna, the frontiers moved westwards, and Russia took control of the former Duchy of Warsaw, but at that time that was Prussian. But you are correct in saying that his estates in what is now Lithuania, I don't remember the names. These are not major cities that were restored. No, because it wasn't under Russian rule.
Well, at least from 1806, I think we can safely say he was living here.
Yeah.
And this became, at that stage, I think he refused the Russian invitations to be part of the army, and sort of lived a life of, well, semi-retirement maybe, but he was certainly having a good time while he was living in this building.
This period that you mentioned, that he was having a good time, we have to be frank that these 10 years at the turn of the 18th and 19th century, just before Napoleon entered Poland in 1806, that this period was a waste of time. I mean, Prince Joseph was mostly drinking alcohol.
Maybe not everybody thinks drinking alcohol is having a good time, but I mean, by the standards of somebody who'd been in public life, to sort of opt out of public life.
And a womanizer, I mean.
It's interesting because he actually, of course, never, I mean, that was very typical of the aristocracy, alcohol and women, but he never actually married, did he, I think?
Somewhere here, there is a painting showing Prince Joseph farewell to his wife and son. This is, of course, fake. This is fake because he had no wife. He had 2 sons, and both of them were named Joseph after the father.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Poland Daily Travel. We're here in the Museum of the Countryside in Mazowsze, near Warsaw, about an hour and a half from Warsaw, in the small town of Sierpz. And I'm with our guide for today, who is Małgorzata Błaszczak, right?
That's right.
It was even close, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not responsible for your names. I'm only responsible for saying it wrong. Okay. And Arthur Gorniewski, his name I can't say because I've known him a bit longer than Małgorzata. Małgorzata, this is a really, really beautiful room and full of collections of carved sculptures, yes? Could you tell us something about some of the artists in here?
Yeah, the collection we have here, we can divide it into 3 groups. The religious group, the historical group, and also the group connected with the life of the villagers. And we have 16 folk sculptors here in the gallery. And one of the most important sculptors is definitely Wincenty Krajewski.
Okay. And why is he important? Why should we know him?
He was called a master because he made over 2,000 works, and also he taught many local artists. And he was interested in Polish history. So here you can see some most important events from Polish history, like the Battle of Vienna, the Battle of Grunwald, and also Polish kings and queens.
So the Battle of Vienna, which was in, what year was the Battle of Vienna?
1683, 12th of September.
Right, I knew you'd know that. And down here, the Battle of Grunwald, are you as good on that?
15th July, 1410.
1410, 15th of July. Did you know it as well?
Yeah,
of course you
of course.
did. Because the Battle of Grunwald and the Battle of Vienna are essential dates for every Polish school child, not let alone esteemed guides like my companions today. Particularly, any particular kings or queens we should know?
Here we have Jagiełło with Jadwiga.
Which one is that? In the middle here?
In the middle, yeah. Those in the
that
green
would be those
coats.
2, yeah. Wow. Okay, and next, where can we go?
And here we have Władysław Wójcik.
Oh, Władysław Wójcik is here, okay.
Yeah, that's right. So here we have a sculptor who never attended school, but he could write and read, and he signed all of his sculptures. So here we can see that he was also interested in some legends, because we can see some amazing creatures like dragons, for example.
Yeah, they're dragons, and this looks like a devil or something.
Yeah, that's right. It's a devil.
Yeah, a gremlin or a devil. It looks like a devil. And you can tell by the horns, right? What is that? That's fantastic. Is that a dragon?
Yeah, it's a kind of a dragon.
What work? This is amazing. Is it very valuable?
That's right. It's now very, very valuable because not many people do it now.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, something like this. This is another this looks like the battle between good and evil.
That's right,
Yeah.
because he was also interested in such topics. So here you can see Saint Michael fighting the devil.
I love that one. I'd like to have that one at home. It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, what else should we take particular notice of?
Here we have a very interesting artist, Helena Ptaszyńska. Her works, as you can see, are very simple, even primitive, we can say. But that's because she used only a small axe and a knife to make her sculptures.
So she used a hatchet and a knife, and that's all, like a butcher's knife or something?
Yes, something like that.
Right. Okay. That's incredible. They are very basic, but they have some kind of power of their own, don't they?
That's true.
Sort of unique, don't you think, Arthur?
Well, that's a beautiful example of use of a small knife and an axe.
Is that what you use when you carve your sculptures?
Well, I am staying
Swiss Army
familiar
knife.
with
I think it's Swiss Army knife.
rollerblade area, so I stay calm now.
Yeah. Arthur once carved a sculpture of Ronald Reagan with his Swiss Army knife, using every implement. It's quite an original piece, and I don't recommend that anyone should see it unless you want to suffer nightmares for the rest of
Well, his
your life.
1987 speech deserves to be sculptured.
His
Mr.
19
Gorbachev, tear down this wall, right?
Tear down this wall. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Okay, what are we looking at next?
Here we have Edmund Nowakowski, whose works present the life of the villagers. So here you can see some fun, like dancing couples and musicians, but we can also see some work, like a woman milking cow and also the harvesters.
You got harvesters and also a plowman.
Yeah, that's right.
A man plowing. I like that one a lot, actually. There's a curious power to these things. Even the very simple ones, they have their own sort of mystique, don't they? Which one do you like, Arthur?
What I like the most, I like the musician guy very much, personally. He plays a violin, right?
No, it's a bass fiddle.
Bass fiddle, and that was like a popular countryside instrument to play?
I think so, yeah. In each local folk band, there should be.
Or more flute,
Well,
or a sort
bass,
of,
right?
or
You
a
gotta-
sort of
to keep the beat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Or and drum.
Yeah, during some countryside feast, it could be a highly appreciated profession to handle a bass all night long.
Fantastic, Margaret. Amazing!
And here we also have a very interesting person, Jan Krajewski.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And what's interesting, he was the son of Vincenty, about whom I told you at the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
He was the son, okay.
Yeah. And what's interesting, at the end of his life, he lost his eyesight. But for some time, he was still sculpting. And this sculpture that you can see here was made after he lost his eyesight.
So this one's he's completely blind when you made that.
That's true. So very amazing,
Shepherds
talented.
under a tree or something like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, it's called The Idol.
The Idol?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it called that? Do we know?
Because it presents an idyllic scene.
Ah, the ideal. Yeah, okay. I thought you said the idol, like something to worship. Okay, I understand. The ideal. Okay, thank you. Again, this is amazing stuff. You've got a whole scene of the looks like a series of the family or a series of farmers doing different tasks. Very interesting. Yeah. Okay. Poland Daily Travel. We're looking at sculptures, marvelous folklore that is contained here. I mean, invaluable stuff, really. Don't you think, Arthur?
Yes,
Isn't it
indeed.
amazing?
I liked very much the
glad we came
battles
here.
and kings and queens sections.
Yeah.
So
I know
still
you're a buff.
not only countryside and our philosophy, religion-connected sculptures, but also appreciating Polish history. I find very powerful when it comes to Polish countryside and the Museum of Polish Countryside in Sierpc.
It's an indispensable part of understanding history. I think that's the point. I'm glad you're showing it to us, Małgorzata. We appreciate it. Poland Daily Travel. Stick with us. More from the Museum of the Polish Countryside in Mazowsze, in the beautiful town of Sierpc.